Okay, that was my fault this time, Brett. Sorry about that. Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Sorry about that. I just did an intro and apparently I forgot to hit unmute. So, welcome to the Friday Live. Today, we are going to be talking about the path to scalability. So, over the past couple of weeks, I've realized talking with a lot of you guys and just watching conversations, getting involved with running ads, working on that side. I've realized that we've never really just sat down and mapped out what does it take to start a company, scale it to $250,000, scale it to $1 million, scale it to $5 million, and really put your company in a position where it becomes scalable. That you can create predictable formulas for predictable growth um, that you're going to have to tweak and improve as you go, but it will give you a path to actually scale your business, creating a system and processes. Now, I love systems. I love systems. I know it's weird. I run a CRM and help you guys do that, but I love help building systems that are scalable, that can grow. So this is a passion project. But the other reason that I want to do this, guys, is that with this process, I'm actually going to be turning this into our new lead magnet. And part of this journey is like I want to show you what I'm doing with this so that you understand kind of what goes into building a lead magnet, what goes into creating something that people are going to find interesting, they're going to find valuable and download and engage with. Hey, well, glad you were here today. Happy Friday to you, my friend Mike from St. Louis. Happy you're here. Glad to see you. But today we're going to start by outlining. We're just going to start brain dumping. We're going to start putting this stuff in here because sometimes, um, it gets really easy with the like onslaught of information that's here, the onslaught of just content that's out in the world everywhere. It gets really we start to take content for granted and thinking through these things. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you like everything that I'm doing to build this and bringing you along on the journey. And part of this is that I want to help you guys start thinking through this so you can help me refine as we go. It's going to be a win-win for all of us. So let's hop into this. This is going to be we're gonna keep doing this series every Friday for a while until we're done, because that's what I want to do. And you guys are here, and you guys are awesome. So we're going to make it so that I'm going to try to provide you guys as much value in this process as possible. Because I honestly believe that if you know how to scale your business, that is the secret to really unlocking everything that you're doing. So let's hop in. The first thing you're going to notice, I've got a Google Doc pulled up. It is completely blank. There is nothing on here. We are going to let me see if I want to see if I can change this presentation up a little bit, make it look a little better. No, it's not going to let me. All right, sorry about that. We're going to have to do it this way. Is leading us. Thank you. You're welcome, Brant. I'm always happy to help you guys out. You guys are always my favorite. All right, so let's hop in here. So we are blank. We've got nothing. So the first thing to understand about scaling your business, everything revolves around systems. So while we're doing this, we're not just going to look at it and go, okay, you need to get leads, you need to close leads, and you need to service leads, and you're done. This isn't like that. What we're looking at and what we're going to be thinking about is systems, because to grow and to get to that point, you need to be thinking, you need to be looking a year, 2 years, 5 years ahead, and really taking good steps on your infrastructure. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to think through like what areas do we need to focus on. So first one is going to be marketing. Why? Because marketing equals leads. If we're not marketing, we don't really have anything to sell. But the next one is actually going to be sales. Equals money. that's simple. Because if you're bringing in the leads and you're not calling them, you're not selling them, you're not going to make any money, and you have no products to service. You have no servicing. You have no customer support. So the next thing that we want to think through is product delivery. Like, how is the product being delivered? How is this? What's happening with this? Are there values, things like that. And don't worry, this is just the top. This is just the top of our outline. We're going to go back in here and we're going to fill this out. You guys are going to get to see my. You're going to get to see my creative brain go into overdrive here on this session. And I know I said I'm going till 1 today. It's actually going to be till about 12:45. I've got a lunch date with my fiance, and we're going for a Reuben, a local shop out here. It's amazing. All right, so we got product delivery. So once the product's delivered, what's the next step? That's going to be customer service or customer support, whatever that's going to look like in whatever capacity. From there, so we got the leads in, we make money. They got their product. You've delivered on your goods. You've got not customer support, not custom support, customer support. Make sure your clients are happy as you're moving along in the process. And then we're going to go, we're going to look at profitability, because it doesn't do you any good to do any of this if you don't have any of this. So let's start diving down. So guys, and if you guys think of anything while I'm going through this, and you guys have any feedback, throw it out to me. I love hearing your guys's. Always happy to think ahead, think through this stuff with you and work with you through it. So marketing is going to include leads, but marketing should equal leads. So the goal here is to produce leads. Hey Kim, happy you were here. Glad to see you. Hope you're staying cool there in Las Vegas, Timberlake, and New York City. Man, how's your guys' weather doing? It's blazing hot out here. I'm in obviously Kansas City area. But it's a bit rainy, but it's been muggy summertime. All right, so the goal is to produce leads, high quality, qualified leads. All right, so now let's think through this. Now, as we've talked before, when you get into when you start getting, I'm gonna have to turn Grammarly off here. As you start getting into the process of marketing, you're going to start to realize that there are different. There's going to be different types. So the first thing we need to think about, the first thing we want to think about here is advertising. Like, how are we going to get our name out? This is going to be top of funnel. And so advertising. Now, again, this isn't necessarily like we're gonna hit on and discuss just kind of some ways that we can do this. I know we've exhausted this with Miro and really dug into this. So later on, I'll kind of fill in some of that stuff. But first off, we want to think about top of funnel, like what's advertising? How are we generating lead? So that's the question. How are we generating? Let's just call it traffic for right now. Because advertising equals traffic. So how are we going to generate traffic? This is going to be our top of funnel. So this top of funnel. How are we generating traffic? What platform do we want to use? What else do we want to think about? What message are we putting out? How does this message impact our sales process and product delivery? This is a very important one to think through. One thing that I find is a lot of people who get out there and start getting into advertising, they'll figure out a formula that creates good leads. They'll get things going. They'll be really happy. They'll get things in, but they don't understand that, like, the messaging that they're putting inside of their ads, their videos, things like that, are actually going to impact, like, their customer satisfaction. You see how I just thought of that, so we're just going to throw that down there. How it's going to impact their customer satisfaction, how it's going to impact their profitability. If people start charging back, people aren't happy, things like that. So the other thing that we want to look at is we want to come up with organic strategy, paid strategy, and then I'm going to call this next one, we're going to call it affiliate strategy. Why? Because I love affiliate marketing. And shameless plug, if you're not a part of the Profit Lifter affiliate program, go to profitlifter.com/affiliate. We'd love to have you and help you make money from your clients who need websites and CRMs. And all right, so we want to think through how are we going to generate traffic? What platform do we use? What messages are we putting out? Organic, paid, affiliate. Then we need to think about how do we scale our advertising? That's going to be an important one. So next, we want to think through, and this is one of these. So some of the buzzwords that you hear in the marketing industry, in the marketing side of business, marketing and advertising a lot of times kind of become interchangeable. Like they'll say my marketing team, but the marketing team's doing advertising. They're doing all sorts of stuff. So it's not just marketing. So this is going to be, we're going to call this traffic conversion. All right, so let's start. What do we need to build? What do we need to have in place in order to have a scalable system on our marketing? So we want automate. We want everything automated. You notice I didn't put automated under advertising. Advertising is incredibly hard to automate, and I honestly don't think that you can automate advertising. If somebody wants to prove me wrong, jump on a live with me. I'll argue with you, and we'll figure it out and get to the bottom of it. But with marketing you can completely automate, which is why I like the marketing side a little more than I like the advertising side. So this is going to be, we want it to be automated. We need to think about customer journey here. Actually, we're going to take this customer journey. We're going to put this actually up here. The next thing that we want to be thinking through some of our general stuff. So like avatar, like who are we targeting? Who's our primary client? All of that. We need to be thinking through customer journey. And when I say customer journey, if you're confused on what that actually looks like, a customer journey is thinking about, okay, after they've heard about us, how do we get them to opt in? How do we get them to engage? How do we get them into a consideration process? And then how do we get them into the sales process, the sales and consideration process? Then how do we get them to sign up? And that's basically what your funnel looks like. So with marketing, we want automated. We need to be focused on high engagement. What else do we need to focus on? Conversion tactics. So this could be lead magnets. This can be, lead magnets. Consideration, sorry, slash sales. All right, so this is going to be lead magnets. This could be webinars, but webinars can also go under the consideration of sales, things like that. Newsletter. We want to think through all that stuff. Marketing. So we got a list. List management. How do we automate our list management so that it's constantly that we're only working with good people? Now, why list management is so important? If you have a good solid list, you're not sending out a bunch of emails to email accounts that aren't valid. That's a big part of list management. But the other side is like the more people that are clicking and engaging, the more likely that it's going to open, because it's going to impact your delivery score, it's going to impact your domain rank and all of that. The less you can keep people from opting out and complaining that it's spam, that's the other side, is that we want to think through that. And so list management actually plays a big part into that. Okay, high engaging. We need to think about tracking in here as well. This is going to be tracking and reporting. What else do we need to think through? Not sure. We'll come back to it as we go through this. And guys, one of the best things that I can tell you, if you're ever in a brain dump session, do not feel like you have to sit there. Like, as you can see, like as I'm going through, I'm just kind of randomly throwing stuff all over the place as I need to. And the reason that I'm doing that is because the more that like if you if you like, oh, I'm going to come back to that, you're not going to come back to it. When you get into a brain dumping session, your brain it just starts going down that path, and it's kind of like a engine. It just starts revving, and it just keeps going faster and faster and faster, thinking through it. And so, like as you're going through that, just put it on there, and then just go back through and move it around as you need to. That's just a little hack from like multiple. Like I've probably done 1,000 or two brain dumps in this process going through this. All right, so next we need to think about consideration and sales. So what does our sales marketing look like? Is this scalable? So sales marketing is going to include like emails, video sales letters. What else could it be? It could be anything basically. This is going to be the marketing that happens while your sales team or you are on the phone selling somebody. Like what happens afterwards? How are we tracking them? And then we're going to go back, and this is going to play very well into the sales process. One thing that I'm a big fan of, you as the owner having control over your marketing of what's going out for your sales team. Not that they shouldn't be able to go in and write individual emails, but the other side of this is that you want to make sure that that you know what's happening on your emails, like that you know the content that's being sent out, and automating it, because it just helps with the compliance, and it will help take care of your customer support, your product delivery, all of that stuff. So marketing, advertising, consideration, sales process, what's that look like? Testimonials. All right, and then last thing we want to think about is closing. And we need to think about checkout. We need we want to be thinking about upsells, cross sells. What else? Upsells, cross sells, downsells. And then we also want to be thinking about setting expectations. It's going to be the next steps, like what happens after they sign up, explaining that for them, helping them through that process. The reason this is so critical is because, like, I don't know if you've ever done this. I've done this before, where I've gone to a website. I tried to buy something. I order it, and then just this little tiny message pops up that says your order's been placed. I felt like I get very leery of those. Like I feel like when I just see something like that come across, that like I don't know what to expect next, and it gives me a lot of anxiety. So we want to relieve that anxiety for your clients, because that's going to help in your customer support and customer satisfaction. We want to set up the right message from here, so that by the time they get down here, that they're happy, they know what to expect, everything's on board. Feeding our KPI analysis, make our marketing measurable. Oh yeah, KPIs, yeah, great point. Tracking. And this, we're going to say analytics, conversions, KPIs, and reporting. Great, great feedback. Great feedback, Hagen. Really appreciate that. Yeah, make our marketing measurable. Absolutely, that's a great point. Yeah, so tracking, analytics, conversions, KPIs, reporting, and yeah, that's a great point. I love that. Okay, so I'm sure there's going to be more that comes up. So let's just hop into the sales process. Okay. Sorry. We need to think through. We need to think through content. The reason the content strategy comes into play. Again, the content that you're putting in your marketing is going to have a direct impact on what's happening on sales, with your product delivery, the expectations, and the customer support. So we definitely want to be thinking through our content strategy there. Okay, let's move this down a little bit. Okay. And I'm doing this. The reason that I like doing that I go through and format this stuff while I'm putting it in here is for the outline on the side. That way, like as the sheet starts getting bigger, I can just go in here and go click. That's what I'm looking for right there. Let's see. Okay, so we've got marketing. There's my sales. All right, sales. Number one, what is your sales script? Do you have a sales script? If you are not using a sales script, you are missing a ton of money. Use a dang sales script, guys. The reason that you want to use a sales script is because it is predictable, it's consistent, and you can actually improve your closing ratios if you have a consistent sales script. People who wing it all the time, like they kind of stumble into it, but eventually what will happen is they'll go back and they'll be like, okay, here's my pitch now. But the other side is you can't expect somebody to make the right peanut butter and jelly sandwich for you if you don't tell them what that peanut butter and jelly sandwich looks like. Your sales script is going to be what that actually looks like, and what that looks like for your sales team. And so now that we hit that, it just made me think of this next section that we need to add up here under marketing. So this is going to be team structure, and this is going to include hiring order and also training, because that's what we're doing here, guys. All right. All right, let's hop down to our sales. Sales script. Follow up. The other thing we want to think through, so we've got our sales script. How does that work? So let's talk about sales script delivery. Not delivery, but I don't know how else to say it, but use, like basically if they're how are they going to use that sales script? What's going to work? What's going to make sure that's working for them? Next, we want to talk about, so the next thing we want to think about under the sales script, they're on the phone. Okay. Follow-up sequence. For those of you guys who missed my my interview with Daryl from Leads Locator last week, God, we had so much fun. Peanut butter. Thanks. Yes, it is peanut butter jelly time, Brett. Just talking with him about the follow-up sequence, getting people on the phone, having a consistent cadence that you're following every time. It brought me back. It reminded me of just thinking through the sales process, what that looks like, and working through that. So you definitely want to have this follow-up sequence. The next thing, so now we need to think through team. We need to think through compensation. And actually, what we're going to do is under fundability, we're going to put commissions. Yeah. Payroll, salaries, commissions. So the next thing that we want to think about for a sales script or for our sales team is we need to think about commission. That's what got me thinking about it. So when are you paying, when, how much, when, how much, all that fun stuff. And you also want to be thinking about what. And you may not, this may not seem important yet, but you need to also be thinking about, like, what are you actually going to be paying for, what are you going to be paying out on your commission plans with your sales team? The reason that you need to be thinking about this is that, like, as you start getting into bringing on ancillary products, add-ons, things that are going to, things that you can sell that maybe aren't your core features, You may have a different commission plan for those opposed to like your core products. And this is actually an incredibly effective strategy if you want to beef up your sales in certain areas. So let's say I'm just going to take Profit Lifter for example. We're focusing on our three main we call them SaaS plans in house. So software as a service. These are like our Max Plus, our growth plan, Boost plan, and growth plan. So if I wanted to really focus on that, and I had a team of let's say 5, 6 salespeople, I would actually increase the commissions just on that one product, so they sell it more and they make more money on it. And that doesn't have to be something you do forever. It can be something that you run a special promo with your sales team. There's a lot of ways. So that's the other thing we need to think about. Let's think about incentives. Because salespeople, if there's you can give them perks, if you give them cash bonuses and be like, look, I'll cash app you if you close 3 deals today. I didn't say that to you, Brett. No, not you. But if you tell them, hey, look, I'll cash app you if you I'll give you $100, $200 if you get that. They love those incentives. So that's going to be a good one. Man, Hagen, I think I'm gonna have to bring you on, man. You are killing it in the comments over here on YouTube. Identify pain points. Yep. Explain the benefits. Close the sale. Yeah, Hagen, that is some great content right there. For those of you guys, I'm just going to share it with all of you. You should take notes of this because this is incredibly helpful. Build rapport, identify the pain points, introduce the product, explain the benefits, address the objections, close the sale. The other thing that I would put in there in that process is going to actually be looping back to the objections. So like when you go to close the sale and they say no, it's looping it back around to overcome their new objections on that point. But yes, hey, appreciate that. Great feedback there. Sales script roadmap. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna steal your stuff here, brother. It was good. So we're gonna put step 1, build rapport. Step 2 is going to be identify pain points. And I'll share with you. Like I think this is good, but I'll share with you the way that I like to. Step 4, explain the bennies, explain the benefits. Step 5, address objections. Step 6, close the sale. Step 7, loop the objections. Okay. So there's a couple things inside of this that I would actually change up on the sales script because like I love the sales script side. I think this is a good point. But I don't I actually don't like building rapport with people up front. So like I am very much a question-based salesperson. Like I like to ask questions because the thing that I have realized is if you focus on more of a question-based sales model, you don't have to convince them. They're answering the questions. And so like when somebody comes in, like I'm able to identify their pain points and their needs right out of the gate by with them building rapport by just asking them like, how can I help you make $1 million today? And just like let them go, like, hey, tell me about your business. How can I help you make $1 million? And let them go, here's what I need. Here's what I'm looking for. Because from there, they're actually going to identify the pain points. Now, this part under introduce the product, that's where I would put that because now you're going to go, okay, cool. Let me tell you about Profit Lifter. Let me tell you about how we simplify owning a CRM, make it easy, blah, 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 streamline your growth, all this fun stuff. Here's what it is. Now, the other thing that I would do, some of the things that I would do in here is ask clarifying questions. And we'll get into this much more in depth. But the other thing that I wanted to say is before after step 4, before step 5, let's move this. I shouldn't have named these because I knew I was going to move them around. Step 5, I'm going to ask for the sale. And this isn't going to be a hard close. This is going to be a, hey, so based off what I'm saying, does this make sense to you? I want to get a yes from them right here. And the reason that I want that is because at that point, I know if I'm going to need to loop the objections. If they say, nope, you know what, it's completely dumb. I don't need a CRM. I don't need marketing. Sorry, at that point you can cut it out. But the reason that I would put it here because that makes step 6 objection addressing and looping the objections, and then closing the sale. And then step 7 would actually probably be next steps. So yeah, man, Hagen, you got my squirrels chasing things over here, brother. Appreciate the feedback though. That's some great things. All right, so let's go back to thinking through the sales process. And guys, each of these sections we're going to dive into like even more in depth. The other reason that I'm doing this, just as a little secret hint, is because I'm also mapping out the content of what I want to cover with you guys over the next year. So this is also my way of just kind of putting together our content marketing strategy up here. That's basically the other side of this is using that. So sales, we want to make sure we got our sales script. What's that look like? The other thing that we want to do in the sales script, I'm gonna move these over here. The next thing we want to do is match up with marketing workflows, meaning that we want to make sure that that all of this stuff in here is working. Now, a little hint for those of you guys who have never built a website or never tried to write out content for a website. One of the easiest things to do, one of the smartest things to do, really simple. Take your sales script and turn it into your content on your website. We'll get into that later though. So we want to make sure that that matches up. Let's actually put this down here under the follow-up sequence. Okay. So let's think through. Let's think back through commissions. When, how much, what. We also want to think about. Okay, so when are you paying them? How much are you paying them? And then you also the other thing that you want to look at is how. How are you paying them? Like 1099 versus W2, but this is also a lot of this is going to fall under like your commission plan, figuring out like what's that look like. I'm going to put this, I'm actually going to lower that under commissions there. Incentives, that's just going to be like bonuses. If you really want to push, if you're having a slow month, you want to push, what incentives can you roll out to them, work through that side. So that's commission. So we've got sales script. Now we need to think through hiring, reporting, management. So hiring, like what type of salespeople do you need when? Okay, this is what I'm talking about here with what type of salesperson do you need when? I'll give you a great example. I'm a question-based salesperson. I'm going to go in, I'm going to ask questions, and then that way I can figure out their objections. I can overcome it. We can work through that. Brett is very much a go in, glad handle, and be all warm and fuzzy, and people love him by the time that he's done talking. He gets people to buy from him just because they love him so much by the end. Oh, thank you, Credit Suite. Oh, look, our friends at Credit Suite are hanging out with us. Woo! Hey, Credit Suite. So the next thing that we want to think through is like what type of salesperson do you need, and this is going to be very dependent on like where you're at in the scaling of your business. Meaning that like when you're first getting started, what you want to think about what type of person can best complement your personality. Um, like for me, the reason that I offered Brett the position, one, just he's been one of my he's been a great friend with me since high school. Like I know him, I trust him, I love him. Like I knew I could open up and really share what's going on. And being a smaller company and working on scaling ourselves, I knew I had somebody that I could really communicate with and have somebody to really lean on. But the other side is that he has a very stark personality difference between me. He is the extrovert. He'll go out there. He'll like just start walking up to people. Like we'll be on the phone and he'll be in the grocery store just starting conversations with people out of nothing. And I am not that person. Like if you see me in the grocery store, I've got my AirPods in. I'm looking down. I'm looking at groceries. I'm in. I'm out. I don't want to talk to anybody. Like I'm very much an introvert. You get me on a screen, you get me on a stage, and get me presenting, I'll yap on for forever. But I'm naturally not that extrovert person. So I knew that like in order for me to scale, I need that extrovert. I need that person that has that difference. Because if you get two introverts on the sales team, neither one of them are going to want to make phone calls. Neither one of them are going to want to go out prospecting, networking, and doing all that. But that other side is that there are different types of salespeople, meaning that personality types. Like, are they fast paced, fast talking, aggressive sales? Get them in, get them closed, or are they more the nurturing, like coach them, mentor them, make them fall in love with you? But those personality types go very well. But as you start scaling and growing, you're going to find that these different personality types play incredibly well with each other. So like you could have a sales team of like 10, 15 people. And when you have all those different personality types, what you'll find is that they'll start working out deals with each other where like if they can't close it, like if I couldn't close the deal, I may call Brett and go, hey brother, I'm having a hard time with this one. I need your warm friendliness to come kick in this door for me. And so like it turns into this symbiotic relationship where everybody starts making money together. But that's one of the things that you want to be thinking about is what does this look like? What does this look like from a personality type? Like who do you need when you're first getting started? I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I just wanted to. It was an important tangent. One second. Okay. So next we need to think through reporting. We need to think through um, like tracking sales. We need to think about commission reports, like when are you going to kick out commission reports? How are you going to get that to them? These are all things that you want to be cognizant of. These are things that you want to be thinking about how they work, how they engage on how that's gonna happen, and then management, like who answers what when, meaning that like obviously like if you're just getting started you need a salesperson, um and like you're going to be answering all the questions right out of the gate. It is what it is. It's how it's going to happen. But you also, in order for you to scale, you're going to need a team, and to have a team, you as the owner, you're going to have your hands in this entire document. So you being solely responsible for your sales team, once you start getting past like 500,000 in sales or you start hitting a certain volume, it just becomes unrealistic. So so you need to be thinking about you want to be thinking in advance of what does that look like? What does a sales manager look like? Somebody who can really take the sales, develop it out, and build on top of what you're building. Because part of scaling your business, you'll realize that you may do this stuff, but then you're going to have to go back and retweak it based on more information later on down. Okay, so I think that's what we got for. I think that's a pretty good flow for the sales. Is there anything else? Not that I can think of. All right, let's just jump to the next one. No need to get ourselves bogged down here. Um, Product delivery. I love talking about product delivery. Here's why I love talking about product delivery. This is where you're going to get into pricing. This is where you're going to get into this is where you're going to get into what are your deliverables. What is your pricing? Product delivery, you also need to consider. You also need to be considering like what is the cost of deliverables? Like how much is it going to cost you to do that? What does your pricing look like? How's that going to work? Okay, that's cool. Next, we want to think about upsells, downsells, cross sells, all of that. The other thing that we want to be thinking about on our products. Let's talk about this. We're going to call this like in-house products, and for all intents and purposes, just because these are the conversations that I'm having, that Brett and I are having, and me and my team are having, we're going to call this next one JV products. So a JV product may be like we get, let's say we get a year down the road and Profit Lifter goes, hey, we're going to roll out a product partner program just like Credit Suite. Foreshadowing there for those of you guys who are paying attention, where now you've got another product that you can go out and sell, that you can add to your list of things that you're offering. So part of this is looking at it like what does an in-house product versus a JV product look like, and what does that look like from a delivery standpoint? Like how many products can you stack on with each other? Really, just take you through this whole process of thinking through that. Product delivery. How does the product get delivered? Is this automated? Is this something that has to go through a process? Are there people involved? What does your delivery times look like? We need to put that up here. Let's time to delivery. All right. Pricing. This just made me think about this. So we're gonna have pricing. We're gonna think through pricing options. Sorry, and then we're gonna look at I don't have a better name for this yet, but I'm gonna call it product scaling. Product scaling, for short, just shorthand version of product scaling. This is going to be like if you take a step back and you look at your overall big product. Like if somebody came to you and said, "I want everything that you have," like what does that actual product look like? What does that price look like? And then from there, how you come up with your pricing options is really going to depend on your product scaling. Meaning, like if I take out numbers 1, 2, 3, 7, 6, and 18, how much can I sell this for? Can I reduce my price on it and have a different price point that I can attract different clients, maybe that have like price objections, things like that. So you want to think about like product scaling. How can you take one thing that you already have and then scale back some of the stuff that's included with it to create other options? And the reason that you want this, because this actually falls very well into your customer journey. So, and we'll get into that more, but just for example, with Profit Lifter, like when we launched with a $97 a month program, like nothing like that for a business owner, that's like a networking lunch. Like that's not much of anything. But then from there, we started looking at this and going, okay, you know what? Here's everything. Now, how do we start scaling back some of this stuff? How do we break it out? And then how do we turn this into a bigger product based on that? So that's some of the stuff that you want to think about for pricing for your product delivery, in-house products versus JV. Are there things that you can answer about that? How does the product get delivered? Okay. What can you sell over and over again to the same client? So these are all things that we want to think about. And again, like once we start getting into the actual action steps of this, you're going to love it. And to give you a little insight, the way that I came up with this, the way that I came up with this strategy of what we're doing and what we're talking about, this is not an exercise in futility. This is what my path to scalability looks like for Profit Lifter and all the stuff that we're working on, and we're still constantly adding to this. But what we did, what we ended up doing is we ended up doing an audit of like we did an audit of like let's take a look at everything that we have going on right now, and then based off that, how are we able to scale based off that, or what do we need to fix in order to get comfortable scaling? Like, what do I need to get in order so that I can start running ads, that we can start running JV partnerships, that we can start doing all these things to really start driving the leads in. Because once you drive the leads in, now we can work on conversions, and it gets to our sales team, and it gets into our product delivery, then it gets into support, and then it gets into you see how this all goes. So cleaning up all of this stuff before we get there. Don't forget about your lunch date with Mr. Rubin and your fiance. I didn't. I actually messaged her and said, "Hey, I'm kind of on a roll on this live stream." So she's fine with that. Can you sell it over and over again with the same client? Okay. So let's go into customer support. First, what type of support do you offer? And this can be like online versus phone versus video. Thinking through that. Then you want to be thinking about what will support actually cover. Meaning that with your support team, like who's going to be, what are they talking to them about? What parts of your business are they actually going to help with? What are they responsible for? But a lot of times with customer support, it's going to be like their clients making payments, if there's payment issues, things like that, and working through that. Then like SOP libraries, and then a big one is going to be training. And I just thought about up here under our product delivery, we need to think through team hires, salary, who does what, when, and how. So yeah, might as well. Training, who does what, when, and how. Now we need to, so we're thinking through that. And actually, you know, this is becoming its own thing. So we're going to put that, we're actually going to build this under, we're going to create a whole nother one here called team building, thinking about like when we need to hire people, how are we going to hire them, how are we going to train them, what are we going to pay them? We need to be thinking through all of that. If you don't have that mapped out, and you don't think about that, that's actually going to drastically impact your profitability. Meaning that like if you just come in and you're like, let's try this, but you're not actually like running your numbers up front to look at it and go, okay, you know what? If we're making $1 million and I've got a salesperson that's responsible for $1 million in sales and I'm paying them $10,000, they're making $100,000. But then how much does product delivery cost? And so like all of this plays into itself. When you're thinking through that. So team building, definitely be thinking through that. Like, how do we build a team? What do we need to do for that? Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My brain just shut down, and I think that's a good place to end the live because there's we got through a lot of stuff here. We got through a lot of just mapping out things that we need to discuss and that we need to be thinking through. But what we're going to work on, next week is we're gonna knock out these other 3 next week, next Friday. Plus, we'll do a little bit more in here, and I'm going to be thinking through this. If you guys have any feedback on this, feel free to jump on the video. Feel free to comment, let me know, or just shoot us a message on in Messenger on Instagram or Facebook. We're always listening there as well. However we can help you, you know we're here for you. I hope all of you guys have an amazing weekend. I am going to go to lunch. I got a beautiful fiance waiting for me over there. I'm going to go get a Reuben from my favorite local restaurant because, if you're not supporting local, that always support your local businesses. So until next week, hope you guys have an amazing day, and we will talk with you later. Thanks.